All right. So today we're doing a slightly different podcast. I have a guest here with us that is a very special person to me for many reasons, and that's what we're going to talk about. I think that if you've have seen some of the other podcasts that we've done for either in-home spine care or brain and body or Nerd Solutions, all these companies that I've started to really bring a better service to the community, you'll see that there's a certain undertone about providing information that you can use, and absolutely that's the goal for today. However, I'd like to say a little bit more because of the guest that we have today about how I got here, what my journey has been like. And my journey really is not just my own personal journey. It's really how Christ has worked in me and through me and has been drawing me to him. The evidence of him pulling me to him are undeniable. And I resisted it for part of my life, and then I allowed it for the latter part of my life. And the difference is just staggering. But who you're going to meet today is a person that has had a really big impact on my spiritual journey. And this person has shown me how bold we ought to be and how all those borders that we put up in our lives where we try to keep our spiritual life separate, keep Christ out of your everyday life, how that is not the best way to live. And I made a decision at some point in my life where I was going to remove all those barriers. And there are some people in my life, including the one you're about to meet, who have been a great role model in being extremely bold and being okay with allowing Christ to cross all those barriers, those boundaries. And I look up to this person and her husband for living that example. And I've had other people who've had really great impact in my life, but there's a very good reason why this guest is here today, and I want to really focus more on my journey and how that relationship has allowed all the work that I do today to be blessed by God. And I do think that this person had a huge impact on that. Also, I'm going to offer today a gift. So there's kind of like a two-way gift. And there's going to be a link in the description of the video that allows you to receive a discount on anything you buy in the in-home spine care shop or store. But also, if you use this discount code in this link, you will also be supporting an amazing ministry that you're going to learn about today. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Jennifer Brommet.
Hello. Thank you for having me here today. This is awesome.
Well, I'm so glad you're here. And again, this is kind of one of those things where people may wonder, why are we talking about Christ here? Like I go to these videos to learn more about the spine, about the brain, and learn ways that we can do things better. I'm all about giving actionable information to people who are looking for help so that their lives can be better. And it's not uncommon to separate the spiritual component from the physical component. And I think I've done that for many years in my life. And I think that was a huge mistake for me. But in a way, it allowed me to also compare my life with Christ and without Christ. And part of the reason why I asked Jennifer to be here today is because, Jennifer, you were absolutely instrumental in creating our clinic, the Brain and Body Rehabilitation Specialist. But you're also instrumental in implementing an aspect of prayer ministry within our clinic. So I'd like for you to tell us a little bit more about True Identity Ministries, which is the ministry that you and Remco, your husband, started. Tell me a little bit more about where you are today, where the ministry is, what you've done in the past. And I would just like to know more about it. And I know that for me, it's played a big role too in my marriage and of course my clinical care. So if you could just enlighten us a little bit more on that topic.
Yeah, happy to. One thing I did want to mention though is so your audience knows that I met you at the end of my initial breast cancer treatment and was introduced to you. And I had been praying that God would really lead me to a doctor that really knew him and had an element of faith and could really help me to a healthy recovery, more holistic kind of recovery. And I met you, and you were a godsend. You were an answer to prayer because you really helped me through that journey of really restoring my health actually better than it ever was before. And so I've known you for a very long time, and I've seen the journey that you've been on from the very beginning back then, and beginning in-home spine care, Nerd Solutions, and BBRS. And it's been really a blessing to me to be a part of this journey with you and seeing what God was doing. And also the whole passion I think we both have is to really help heal the whole person. And that includes the spiritual aspect, the faith aspect of healing is so important. So when I was a part of helping get BBRS started here, the clinic, and knew that you really were interested in having a prayer component for the patients and for the staff, I was really excited about that and wanted to help bring that element into the patient's healing process.
I'm so glad you bring that up because I do remember I truly felt led to every business that I've built was really truly, I felt like a tug internally. This is something we need to do that would help the population. It will help people in different ways. Some people that we get to meet face to face and others we don't. Some people we get to help through working and helping other clinicians and so on. But even though when you brought that up to me, you said, well, no, actually you came to me because
that's right. I forgot
initially
that.
you said, if you need help, it was right after the COVID time. And I remember you said, if you need help in your new clinic, I'd love for you to get involved. And in that moment, I felt like, well, if you want to help us, we've got to leverage your skills. I mean, your spiritual gifts. And we've got to start talking about having a prayer ministry. And that prayer ministry that you started here in our office, I will say today, it has saved lives. Of course, it has helped a lot of people have the hope that they needed, experience the power of prayer, but it has saved lives. There are lives that would have ended if that ministry was not here. And it's really taught me to take the time sometimes when I recognize that there is nothing I can do for this person physically or, neurologically. And in those moments, it doesn't mean that there's nothing that could be done for that person. It just means that we have to recognize that our power is very limited, but we have this incredible source of creation. We have our God, the creator of the universe, who wants to work with us and who shines when we are faced with circumstances that are far greater than what our abilities are.
Right.
That's when he shines the most. And I try to never forget that, especially when I have a patient who is in this position where nothing's working, they're overwhelmed, and they can't keep living that way. And to take a time to take a step back and pray over that person, ask for God to come in and do something amazing in this person's life, in their body, and is truly the most incredible experience that we can have in our human life. And there's something special too about being with another person physically, being next to them, and putting your hands on them and praying over them. And it says that in the Bible, with two or more gather in my name, I'm here. So,
Yes.
wow, I've got to experience it. I kind of took that one very lightly in the past, but now it's the power that it has is incredible. So if you're hearing this, I would encourage anyone who's listening to try it. Try it with the people that are in your intimate circles first, people that are close to you, and pray over them. Just pray for healing, for hope, for whatever it is that they need. You're tapping into a relationship that we are meant to have with our Creator, and we're inviting Him to come in and do what He does so well. And He wants us to be gathered together, when we do this. And it can be done remotely, but in person, I feel like is so much more powerful. So thank you for that, Jennifer, for being a great model. And I would like for you to also touch on, the listening to prayer, because that's one of those things that you taught me, and how we can truly hear prayer and how we do that. You've published numerous books. Your husband has published as well. And that's one of those topics that was truly, it's one of those things that I feel like has been so powerful and augmenting my relationship with God, because there is a way to hear Him speak to you, and you have to really kind of be open to that. So I don't know if this is the right time for you to touch on that, but at some point I'd like for you to expand on that topic, and I'd love to talk more about it too. But
Sure.
but you're the instigator of that process, and it has really propelled my relationship with Christ significantly when I got to really understand how can we hear or the answer to prayers.
Absolutely. Well, our ministry, True Identity Ministries, God really called me to start that back in 2008. And it really came out of my own journey in my life, where I experienced a lot of rejection when I was young because of a physical birth defect, and but came to Christ, came to a saving relationship with Christ when I was 17, because I was in such a dark, depressed place, and met some people who knew the Lord and heard about God, Jesus, in a way I'd never heard before. And so when I came to Christ, I began that journey of really then getting closer to Him, understanding God in a new way, and the Bible, and how God saw me, and not how everybody around me was telling me that I should be, and really revealing to me my true identity, who I am in Him and who He is in me. And that was what was so important, and recognizing that how He sees me and who He says I am, my true identity was what really set me free to be who He created me to be. But through that process of really growing and being set free in my true identity in Him, people would still maybe, say things to me, but it didn't impact me the way it did before, because I knew, well, I know who God says I am, and that's what's really important. But through that journey, I really grew in my prayer, understanding of prayer, my relationship with God through prayer, and the whole idea of God knit me together in my mother's womb. He knows me better than anybody. He knows all my cells, everything about me, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And so I need to go to Him. It's like He's my creator. He's the one who created me, so He knows me better than anybody. So if I am not sure about something, or I'm not understanding something, I need to go to Him. I need to ask Him. But then, like any relationship, if you're the only one talking and you don't ever listen, you don't ever hear, well, you really can't have a dynamic, intimate relationship with that person. So as I grew in my prayer life, and listening prayer, and going to the Lord and asking questions and saying, I don't understand this, or help me understand this thing about myself or about other people. Help me to be more Christ-like in this situation. What do you want to happen in this situation? And so I learned, when I listened and I was tuned in, I understood. It says in the Bible that the sheep will know the shepherd's voice. Or it's like if somebody calls you on the phone and you recognize their voice, you know who you're talking to. Well, it's the same thing with the Lord. If we don't recognize His voice, if we don't spend time with Him, if we don't listen and hear from Him, then we won't necessarily know it's even Him. But we will if we're spending time in the Word and prayer and with Him. We will recognize His voice and how He wants to speak into our life. And I think He wants to speak to us a lot. So True Identity Ministries, because it's not my ministry, it's God's ministry. And our guiding principle for our ministry is out of Philippians 4, 6 and 7, which talks about everything by prayer. Everything by prayer. And so we pray about everything. It's his ministry. It's like he's the head coach, or he's the leader of this. He knows exactly how it should go. So we say, well, let's go to him. Let's ask him. What do we do next? What do you want this to be? Where do you want us to go? How do you want us to do this ministry? And so that has been something that's also really deepened my faith, my trust in the Lord. His will, his way, his timing is always perfect, especially when we're in those places where we think, Lord, why is this taking so long? Why is this going this way? And so that, through my journey, my own personal journey, and also my husband, who is really a passionate prayer warrior and intercessor, has taught me a lot about really deepening your prayer life. But the thing is, and he says, for a lot of people, God has a part in their life, but he is not the main part of their life. And so we tend to I'm going to go to church on Sunday, and I'm going to maybe do a devotional now and then. But then they get up Monday morning and go to work, and they leave God at home. They don't include God. They don't involve God in their business, in their work, in their, if they're a student, they don't. And yet, I know, as you talked about your own journey, that when you begin to recognize that, and that God wants to be the center of everything in our life, and bless it and lead us and guide us and give us what we need to get through the tough times, the good times, all those things. It's just amazing when you get to that place where you really are including him and you see your life really change.
So I want to talk a little bit about how I got to listen to God. And because as I hear you talk about True Identity Ministries, and this is, again, we met before I started any of those things that I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
But I was at a point where I felt like I wanted God to show me, open the doors that you want to open so that I know that this is what you want me to do. I want to honor him in all the works that I do, not just in church and outside of work, but also at work and through the work that I do. And I know that's not everybody is there. It may kind of feel a bit foreign for some. But when I did that, it took a lot of pressure off, because all of a sudden I'm not just doing, it's not just my plan. If this is not something that God wants me to do, he will shut it down. And I like to say that because I pay attention to closed doors. If a door closes, this is not what he wants me to do.
Right.
Now, when we open, so I'm going to talk about in-home spine care, Nerd Solutions, and Brain and Body, because those are three different companies that not everybody who's listening to this actually knows or has heard of. Brain and Body is probably the newest company that I collaborated in creating. So it's not just me. It's Dr. Ben Barrett. It's myself, Cedric Noel, my wife, Kendra Noel. We came together and we decided, you know what, let's create this company. This is our dream clinic. And we have since added other team members, and you were there initially. And the thought of creating this, I mean, it's a large facility. It serves a lot of purposes. We have so much going on in here. And when we looked at the cost of making this happen and the logistics, it was absolutely overwhelming. I could not see how to make it happen. But I felt strongly that it had to happen. And I felt like if God wants this, it will happen. And you were one of those people, along with others, who lined up and showed up at the right time, who every time we had one more step in front of us that looked like it was a big step, but there are people like you and others who showed up at the right time to make that step happen. And then it's like, what's the next one after that? What's the next one after that? What's the next one after that? So one step at a time, doors opened, and they kept on opening, and here we are now. So with in-home spine care, this is a little different. It's a product that I made, to decompress my own back, because I had back pain chronically for a long time. And I needed to have a solution at home so that I can do all the things that God is leading me to do. This is how I see my life, right? And so I made this product for myself. I made one, and I loved it. I thought, this is amazing. I didn't want to get into producing hundreds and thousands of items and store them, and then, process orders and returns and whatever, deal with all the back and forth. And it's something that I didn't need. Honestly, I didn't want it. But what it allowed me to do, and how I felt, because of this product that I could use at home, made me feel like I was being selfish by not making it available. Honestly, I really don't need this whole company. My life would be easier if I didn't have it. But then I have another friend who reaches out. He goes, "Hey, I'm going to have back surgery because my back hurts so much." And I said, why don't you call me? This is the work that I do. Come to my office. He goes, "Well, your office is too far. Like, I won't be able to get there." So I said, "Well, make one appointment. I've got a device you can try. If you like it, just take it home." And he did. So he came over and he tried the in-home decompression bench, loved it, and he took it home. He says, "Let me try it for a few days, and I'll let you know what I think," and loved it. And like, he's using it every day. He says his back hasn't felt better than it does now in decades. And now that's another story that reminds me, that's why I'm doing this. And then there's this other patient that I see, that I continue to see, because a lot of times doctors feel like, why would we give a patient recommended home decompression system when, they're a patient?
Right.
We're losing a patient. We're not losing anyone. You're helping people. And so I have a patient who, same thing. He bought one. He comes in for his adjustment. He does decompression at home. He rides a truck. And he's had chronic low back pain for a long time. And the relief it has brought him to be able to decompress more frequently is unmatched. And I can go on. There's just a lot of other stories like that. So beyond me.
Well, I was one of those people.
And you were one of those people.
I was one of those people that you said, "Oh, I have this great thing that you can have at home that would really help," because I was really struggling with low back pain. And so I had one at home, the original one. And it really made a huge difference in my mobility. And just, when you have any kind of physical issue that's really hindering your mobility, or it just has an impact on the whole rest of you and the whole rest of your life, really.
Spiritually.
So, yeah, everything, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And so it's really easy to go down a dark path with that if you're just really struggling physically. So anyway, I was also a beneficiary of the in-homes, the bench at home. And so I'm thankful that you did do it. And I know it's helped a lot of people.
Yeah. I tend to forget that because it was so long ago, and you've done so well. You're also a critical part of initiating Nerd Solutions, which is a company that I created with my good friend who sadly passed away this year, Dr. Jason Whitaker. And the three of us, it was you, me, and him. We started the company. We said, we got Jennifer here. Let's bring Jennifer in. And you helped us just initially create our website and just kind of streamline our processes, help make it more efficient, and really make our seminars just a 5-star experience where people come in, they learn about our methods, our neurological methods, gravity reset method is awesome. What we've named it. And so you're the one that would go above and beyond, and we're looking at how much money we're spending on lanyards and name tags and folders and snacks and coffee and food. People would come in, and it was an incredible experience. And as much as I felt like it was overdone in the beginning, after we had that very first course that you helped us put together, we walked away thinking, wow, how could we not do that every time? Just providing this incredible experience for learners. And so thank you for initiating that.
My pleasure. I think that was the event preparation, event planning background that I had. And I know it was so funny. At first you were just like, no, we can't do that. We can't have that. We can't do that. I said, just please trust me. Trust me, it'll be worth it. So I was so thrilled. And the seminars are amazing. And not just maybe how we put it together that way, but just in the information. I mean, I personally have grown and learned so much in knowing you and being a part of Nerd Solutions, BBRS, that personally I've really helped me in my health journey. And you have been able to enable me to do what I do. And God calling me to be in ministry, God calling me to, my husband and I, to move to Kenya, which we did a year ago, and to be missionaries in Kenya. And I know you always told me, well, I want to do whatever I can do to help you do what God is calling you to do. And you have done that and been a very significant part of a team of people that have really helped enable us to do that. But so yeah, Nerd Solutions was so fun because I remember you saying, I was asking, do you have something I can maybe help you with? I was looking for some kind of part-time work. And you said, well, actually I do. And can you start tomorrow? So it was great to come along and meet Jason and be a part of your team. I just loved it. I was so blessed. I learned so much. And it was just wonderful to seek it, also then when Jason came to a place where he came to a place of faith, and he said, this is God's company, and we're gonna do this for the glory of God. And I thought that was so exciting to see the three of us come together and be able to really know that Nerd Solutions was something that God was really blessing, I think, and helping it grow. And you have helped so many people and saved so many people, I know, through all of the things that your gifting and talent, understanding. And I would always say to you and Jason, you guys, how do you figure this stuff out? How do you know all this? And I know God has just really used, he used both of you to just really impact so many lives and help so many people. And I was a beneficiary of that as well, but it was just such a delight to be a part of all of that.
So since we brought up Jason, you were very instrumental, in his journey. And I know that I was too, but, me, not so much, but the words I share. So Jason, one of my best friends, we created this company called Nerd Solutions and started all this. And he was not a believer, and I loved Jason so much. And what a spectacular human being,
Yes.
Selfless, loving person. And I would have conversations with him. Say, I don't understand, you're one of the most brilliant person I know. Like he consumes research and articles like no other.
Yeah.
How is it that you would not at least do that with spirituality, investigate religions, not necessarily just one or another, but just at least make an investigation and make a decision. And we would have these conversations. I'd tell him all about, of course, the Bible and Christianity, because this is where my faith lies, and the evidence. I mean, if you look for the evidence of Christ and him being who he says he was, and it's overwhelming. And I say, how is it? And I would tell him what the evidence was. We would have those conversations, but it never really went anywhere. And you were one of those people as well who, when he was, at some point we started praying over him.
Right.
When he was dealing with his brain tumor.
Right.
He had it removed twice. And at some point I said, Jason, can Jennifer and I just pray over you? And he said, yes. And he says that prayer is what changed everything for him. It was not anything else I said. The prayer is when his hunger for knowing God, his creator, and investigating the Bible and the events around it, it all began after that prayer. That prayer was critical. And it's interesting because it wasn't, to me, there was nothing special about it. We got on a call
Right.
and we prayed over him. And really that kind of was it. But all the other great conversations I had,
Yeah.
they weren't the ones that convinced him on anything.
Wow,
But
yeah.
one other thing too that he mentioned, and I know this because it's in the book that he wrote, which he released after his passing, but it's his journey to Christ. And in the book he wrote, it was really more the actions of, in terms of my implication, I think what touched him is how I live my life. And I live my life thinking that everything I do every day is for Christ, except for the sin part. Then I go to Christ and please forgive me. I just failed here. Just please. But other than that, I try my hardest, to serve him in every possible aspect that he wants me to serve.
Right.
And that's what Jason saw. Jason saw that and he said, I want some of that. And then anyway, so together, I think we had a good impact on him. But after that, he just took off. He applied all of his time into learning and studying the Bible. He would spend up to 8 hours in one day sometimes. We would teach a course and is Jason's up? Where's Jason? And he was like in the back room with you or by himself reading the Bible or, having conversations about it. So it really gripped him. Yeah. And so when it comes to hearing God, I think beginning with prayer is critical. You go to God and you say, God, what can I do for you? Of course, we want God to do many things for us, and he cares about your needs. But God, I think that relationship should be us serving him.
Yes.
And if we go to him and bring, of course, all of our problems, all of our needs, that's critical. But also, God, what can I do for you? Maybe you're in a position where you can't walk. Maybe you don't have energy. Maybe your health is completely crushed and there's not much that you can do well anymore. Yeah. But you're still living and you could still pray to God. And if you shift your focus on him and you ask him, what can I do for you? I don't have much left, right? I'm all broken. But out of what I have, use what I've got. Now, some people have more capabilities. For me, I had 2 open heart surgeries. Right. My best friend had 2 brain surgeries. Right. So we are the 2 brains, 2 hearts guys.
That's right. I remember that.
And I went to God much earlier in my life because I realized that my life could end quickly, really young. And I said, you know what? Use me. Take whatever I've got. Out of what I can do, just use whatever works. Right. And what's not working, if you want to make it work better, awesome. Yeah. And let's use that too. Right. And that was my heart. I had a broken heart. I was born with a genetic heart defect. Right. And I had to have a valve replacement at age 16. I had that valve replaced. I must have had dozens of mini heart attacks before that because I pushed myself so hard, beyond what my heart could allow me to do physically. Yeah. It almost killed me many times. I can think of so many, but I don't want to focus too much on that. But God provided through surgeons and through medicine the ability for me to feel better, to get better. And there were still some problems. I had to have another surgery at age 32. Right, I remember that. And you prayed over me on that one. And that one was amazing because all the problems that I had with the first surgery were completely resolved with the second one. Yeah. There were other things that had to be done. I had part of my aorta removed and replaced. It was a complicated heart surgery. Yeah, serious. But you prayed, and many other church members laid hands on me multiple times to pray over me. And again, this was one other moment where I went to God and I said, I am so broken, but I will use everything I've got to serve you. And in this moment, he blessed me with the best possible outcome. So at age 32, in 2 weeks' time, I felt like I was just ready to go and get
Yeah.
back into the workforce, and you were there in that moment. So I know I'm kind of dominating the conversation
No,
here,
it's
but
good.
man, there's just so many critical moments that have happened, and you were
Yeah.
there in those moments. You
Yeah.
and Remco, your husband,
Mm-hmm.
and again, what I want the audience to hear is that there are people around you, there are churches around you, there are people who are ready to help you
Mm-hmm.
grow in your faith and your relationship with Christ. You've got to let it happen. If you don't let it happen and if you don't invite it in, it's going to be a lot harder.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean that God can do amazing things, but you've got to go up humbly and say, God, this is what I've got. Can you use this?
And you
You
can.
know? Now, the cool thing
Yeah.
is that if you go to God and you say, this is what I have, use what I've got, you're not asking for, make it better and then use me.
No.
If you heal me, then let me show you what I can do for you, because that
Right.
never works out.
No.
People just forget.
Yeah.
But if you're like, hey, this is what I've got, take what I've got and use it
Right.
for you,
Right.
he will amplify it.
He will.
That's what I've seen.
Yes, absolutely. Because I love the saying that God does not call the equipped, he equips the called.
Mm.
And so if you are waiting, well, God, I don't feel ready, or God, I don't know how to do this, or I don't know how to do that. And we resist. And I did that for years and years, because when I was 21, I felt like God said, when you're ready, I'm going to use your story. So I thought, well, then I'm just never going to be ready because I don't want to share it. And yet God worked in my life over many years after that, and then finally said, you're ready. You're ready. Now is the time. And that was when I was 47. I think it was the first time I finally shared my story. And I was terrified, but God just has used it in amazing ways that I never could have expected. But all to say that, yes, if we keep waiting until we feel like we're ready, or we can do things, or we say, well, I don't know how to do that, I can't do that. But God can give you whatever you need to do what it is that he's calling you to do, or what he's designed and purposed for you to do. And we always find lots of reasons why we resist that, or we're afraid. I mean, you talked early on about being bold, and I think I'm kind of more of an introverted type of person, and I had somebody say to me one time, you are like one of the most quiet people I've ever known, but you're out there doing all kinds of stuff that I would never do. And I think, well, when you really have that relationship with God, and you know that he has a good plan for your life, he wants you to be blessed. He wants you to serve him, and has good things for you. Now, that's not to say that you're not going to have a lot of difficulty in your life, or you're not going to go through really difficult things, but he is there to guide you and lead you. And man, I say, you can sit there and say, no, I'm afraid, I'm not going to do that. Or you can say, okay, Lord, I'm going to trust you in this. I'm going to trust you that you know what's best. And so I think, go for it. And when God called us to move to Kenya, we were going there from 2011, had been going to Kenya on and off. And when God called my husband and I in 2023, 24, I want you to move there. I thought, this is crazy. We're in our late 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And how are we going to do this? And yet I realized God had brought a lot of people into our lives. You're one of them, who has really helped me maintain a good level of health. My general practitioner doctor said, you're healthy, go, do it. And my husband and I would say, if we say no to this, are we always going to be sitting here wondering, what if we had said yes? What did we maybe miss out on? And so now when we're over in Kenya and we're sitting on our little patio and we say to each other, I can't believe we're living in Africa, but we say, we are so glad we said yes to God, because it's been an amazing adventure, an amazing opportunity to allow God to work through us. Like you said, God, use us in whatever way you want, and to see the impact and the blessing of that is phenomenal.
So I think that's important to recognize that sometimes you may feel like God is going to do something great through you. And honestly, I think he wants to do something great through every one of us, everybody. There is a season where you feel like you know God's going to use you, and you're thinking, I don't know how I could do anything more than what I'm doing, but you feel like he's going to do something. So it's a season of preparation.
Yes.
And in that season, it's okay. Like there's no pressure to perform. You just got to be you and try to refine and improve your relationship with him, get to know him better through his word, through the Bible,
Right.
through prayer, and then see how he's moving through people around you. That's what I got to see. My answers to prayer is that I felt like I was either opening up a business or helping to build a church or helping to, have an impact on my family or my community, and not knowing how I was going to do it, but just knowing that this is my job. I don't know how to do my job, but this is my job.
Right.
and feeling like, okay, I'm all in. Now show me the steps. And next thing you know, the right person shows up, like with inversion belt, the in-home spine care. The first item we made was an inversion belt.
Right.
And I'm thinking, I know nothing about manufacturing. I don't have money stashed away to even make this happen. Like I don't have anything that I need. Not the experience, not the knowledge, not the connection, none of it.
Right.
But I do have God, and he knows people.
Right.
He can make things happen. So I do remember my pastor at the time, we were talking about it, and he prayed over me. He said, I pray that you bless this business.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to be my business. I want it to be for Christ. And that's why we're having this conversation now. But I remember thinking, okay, now I have my one prototype that helped me. What's next? How do I get this made? And then next thing you know, I go play hockey. And then this guy in the locker room, new guy, hadn't been there like ever.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to my friends about, hey, guys, I kind of need to do these videos showing, you using this device, this belt to decompress your back with an inversion table. At the time, that's what we were doing. And talking about what it feels like. And then in that conversation, this new guy goes, I have a question. What kind of materials are you using? And I tell him all about it. He goes, oh, well, if you need help, I can help you. This is what I do. I'm like, what do you mean that's what you do?
Yeah.
I basically sketch out the blueprints to manufacture these kinds of materials. And then I can connect you with the right person to have it made and get the whole thing going. I'm like, this just can't happen. There's no way this guy was there in the middle of this conversation at this time. But that's God.
Oh, yeah.
And this is not God closing a door.
Right.
This is God opening a door saying, yes, move forward with it.
Right.
Now, God closing a door would have been like, there's no funds. There's no way forward. I don't know who you call. Everyone I call, I don't get, positive feedback. I don't get any sense that I need to move forward in this way, or that there is a way forward.
Right.
So that door opened, but everything that I've done, I ask God now, open up the doors that you want to open and shut the other ones, because I don't want to take the wrong door.
Right, exactly, because God also leads us through closed doors. I mean, how many times I can have other stories too, where we prayed and prayed and prayed, and why isn't this working? Why isn't this happening? And then recognizing, God is closing this door for a good reason. Now, we may not see that right now, but he knows the future. And then sure enough, how far down the road you realize, wow, that was such a good thing that we didn't go in that direction. God was protecting us, and he also uses closed doors to redirect us in the right direction. We may be off on a path that we think, well, this is where we should be going. And God's like, no, I think we need to redirect you a little on a different route, or the right route. And so I love that about God. It's amazing. And that's what's so freeing, is to know I don't have to figure this out. I don't have to manufacture this. I don't have to try to get up the strength and know-how and all of that to try to figure out how all this is going to happen or come together. But when you can really let that go and trust God and ask him, okay, yeah, like you just said, it's really cool then to just kind of be on this adventure and journey and see how God connects you with these different people and leads you in different ways. And we have had that happen over and over again in our ministry, and especially in moving to Kenya. When we're brand new there, living there is very different than going there on a mission trip. And we were on our own. We weren't with an established ministry that already had an office there or set everything up for everybody who comes. And we just prayed every day. Okay, Lord, what do you have for today? How do we do this? How do we apply for permits? How do we look for a car? How do we open a bank account? How do we find a place, longer term to rent a place to live? And every step God brought us or connected us or gave us insight. Some mornings we just wake up and Remco would say, you know what, I just had this thought today about this is what we need to call this person or do this or that. And we knew that was from the Lord. That was his way of directing us. Sometimes, a lot of times, reading the Bible. And he speaks to us so often through his word. So it's a wonderful journey and adventure, and one that I would never want to do on my own. And so thankful that we don't have to.
You said something that I think should be the highlight of this whole past hour or however amount of time we've been talking.
I know, we could go on for a long time.
Yeah, we could go on forever.
We could.
But you said something really big. And I think that's what we need. That's the takeaway from when we let God lead us. Mm-hmm. You don't have to have it figured out. It's his plan.
Right.
It's all his.
Right.
The pressure is on him.
Right.
You're showing up and you're like, use me, use what you gave me and what I've got left. Mm-hmm. But it's all on him. So it's like it takes a lot of stress off.
It does.
When I do some of the things that I've done, many of the things that I've done, and again, we can go on forever. We can talk about gravity reset. Wow. I did a video recently where I'm starting to blend some ideas of how to help back pain with a brain-based approach. Well, gravity reset was a complete gift entrusted by God, to me, by God. That's how I see it, and how I heard it, and how this came to me is truly over many, many years. Like before I was even involved in neurology, I knew I was going to make something, like at least one thing.
Right.
We've done a lot more than one, but
you have.
But and I also would have some dreams about making some translational. And I don't really talk about this that much, but I at some point I felt like I was going to make a translational device. Mm-hmm. I thought it was going to be a device, but it's not really the device; it's the method.
Right.
And what we found is that when we apply this gravity reset method to someone's physical and neurological rehabilitation, it has life-altering outcomes. And so
yes,
this is something that God, I feel like, delivered to me and said, I can trust you with this information. I'm not trying to contain it. Not trying to own it. I'm not trying to guard it. I want the whole world to know about it.
Right.
And many other people will teach it as well. But the bottom line is that what we've seen is what seem like miracles in our office, and they're not miracles. But because it's that effective, when you can recalibrate the brain's relationship to gravity, and you can do that really well, it's life-altering for patients with a myriad of conditions, whether it would be a cognitive issue, that's where you want to start, whether it be a pain issue, like low back pain, neck pain, that sort of thing. Because when that foundation, when your brain's compass is off, there's always a muscular response. There's an impact on balance, on movement. There's an impact on your autonomic system. There's an impact on all systems, on vision and eye movement control. So we've taken that notion and really pieced it with other clinical applications, but we put it right in the middle. And so anyway, I'm going to have to redirect myself because I can go awesome for days on this topic of gravity reset.
Yeah, it's so powerful. I mean, and it's such a simple, easily implemented thing. And I mean, you've done it with me here over the years before I went to Kenya, and knowing that I was going to Kenya, like I'm not gonna see Cedric for a year. How am I gonna go a whole year without an adjustment and all of that? But I have the weighted headband, I have the laser glasses, I know the technique of how I can maintain. And I think it's made a huge difference. And I'm telling people in Kenya about it. And it's awesome just to know that you can keep your health at a level where you can keep going. And so, yeah, gravity reset is incredible.
One thing I wanted to ask earlier is a little bit more about what exactly you're doing in Kenya. I think that's really important because people
Yeah,
hear about, oh, they go on a mission trip and
right,
you
right.
wonder like, okay, well, what do they do over there?
Yeah.
But you're living there.
Hmm.
You're committed to be there for at least what, 4 or 5 years, or I
Hopefully,
don't
as
know if
long
you've.
as
Oh yeah, I
God
guess.
will have us there and our health holds up. And
Yeah.
yeah,
And what are
hopefully.
you doing
What do
there?
we do there? Yeah, that's a good question. Well, True Identity Ministries is our mission is really to help people fully understand and embrace their true identity in Christ and who He is in us and who we are in Him. And identity is such a huge issue today in our culture, but it's a worldwide issue. We found this in Kenya as well. A lot of people really don't understand who they are. They're confused, and there's a lot of conflict and just stress around that. And we want to help people really understand who God says they are, who God created them to be, to help them come into that relationship with God through a saving relationship with Christ, and to be restored to the relationship that God created us to have. It's like the relationship He had with Adam and Eve, to be restored back to that so we can be set free to be everything that He created and designed us to be. And so that's been a message that God has given us. It's very biblically founded. We have a program that we developed that God just kind of downloaded to me over the years and has developed that we primarily in Kenya or internationally have also gone to Latin America. We train the trainers. So we have primarily worked with pastors and ministry leaders. And now, since we've been in Kenya, living there, where a new area is prison and police chaplains. And so they've been going through our training and program. And for pastors and ministry leaders, they go through our program. It impacts them. It's a transformational program because God works through it and transforming us in our understanding and setting us free. They take it back to their family, their marriages, their families. They take it to their churches. They take it to then it spreads to their communities. And people are just like, this is just life changing for us.
Mhm.
And they don't have a lot of resources there. And my husband and I have always felt like we want to go and be able to provide training and teaching and resources to those people who really want it and really don't have it as much as we do here, like in the US. And so we have trained or taken over 700 pastors and ministry leaders through our program in the years that we have been involved in Kenya since 2011. And it has spread through those who have gone through it to, I don't know, tens and thousands of people all throughout Kenya, into Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, and, neighboring East African countries. And now that we live there, it's wonderful because we can give a lot more hands-on training, leadership, training the trainers even at a deeper level. Next year, we're hoping to launch our True Marriage program in Kenya, which you and Kendra have been through that, and they want this so much, and said we need this. And the pastors have said to us, a lot of times missionaries will go, which is it's all needed, to help build churches, dig wells, work with orphanages, all those things, hunger programs, all those things are so critical. But so often the pastors have said to us, nobody comes to us. Nobody comes to teach us, to train us, to help build us up. Although there are a lot of pastors training centers and programs in Kenya, we come alongside those and offer our program as kind of an added thing to their training and curriculum. And it's been phenomenal to see the impact it's having. And now God has been opening doors with us since we're living there with the Gen Z and the young millennials, which is amazing because they're just like, they want to come to our house and just hang out with us and ask questions and talk about God, talk about faith, talk about dating, marriage, ministry, all those things. And it's really exciting to see God working, and that we can pass on whatever God wants us to pass on to the younger generations. So
That's amazing.
yeah.
So for anyone listening who wants to support True Identity Ministries, I'm assuming they can go to True Identity Ministries, to the website.
Yes.
It's trueidentityministries.org. And we'll
Yes.
post it as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they can donate, they can support the ministry so that you can teach, train more church leaders to then have an impact on their congregations and their communities. So the efforts are amplified like many times over.
Yes.
And also what we're doing is that we're providing, and we'll post that as well. It'll be in the description and on the video. If you want to get an in-home decompression system to decompress your own spine, to get the relief that I could never have received without it, and many others as well.
Yes.
We are giving a discount code. It's TIM, so Tim or True
Identity Ministries,
Ministries, TIM 15 and then the percent sign. If you use that code, 10% of the purchase will automatically go to True Identities. We don't even get it and give it back. Like, it's automatic. It goes right to the ministry.
Thank you.
Yeah. And also, you will get, if you're using that code, you'll get 15% off. So we're giving a discount of 15% to the person making the purchase with that code, and we're giving 10% to True Identity Ministries.
Wow.
And so that's all those details and those links are going to be there. But TIM 15 and then the percentage signs, if you go to the in-home spine care website and purchase something and you use that, we will honor that, absolutely.
It's wonderful.
But if you want to just go directly, to support the ministry, it's a great ministry, True Identity Ministries, and I, of course, support it and have been for a long time. Some of our companies are also supporting it.
Yes.
And the church that we go to
Right.
together also supports it. And I know many, many other people who have long time been great supporters of True Identity Ministries. And so if you want to do that, please do that. Or if you know someone that could use, maybe someone that could use spinal decompression at home and it's not you, it's somebody else.
Yes.
It's a great gift to offer as well. And not only are you getting a great discount, but you're also supporting a ministry that needs to continue to thrive and to survive and to do many amazing things. And so I can't think of a better person to support through the ministries that you and your husband have initiated.
Well, thank you so much. I can't tell you what that means to us. And we're just so excited in the potential for what God has for us in East Africa. But the in-home spine care, and I have to say, I have to do a little quick plug for it because you have improved the original model. Now you can get the Cadillac, which is... it just works even better, and then with the also the partnership with Resimax, and so I would just encourage anybody out there who is dealing with these kind of issues. It is so worth the investment to have something like this in your home that you can easily use in the privacy of your home and relaxing. You can even just lay there and listen to your TV or music or whatever, and it's just such a really significant product. So I would encourage you to take advantage of this offer. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank you, Cedric.
I appreciate you.
You too.